This is an interview with LeathurBitch on Sunday, October 18th, 2020 by Nick Burkell. Now, can you each tell me how you got your first instrument? Court, you want to start?
Sure. My first instrument. Well, my first instrument ever was the clarinet. And then I started listening to Metallica when I was, 12 or something, and then immediately wanted to start playing electric guitar. So I got into that. And then somehow I became a bass player. And that's pretty much it.
Cool story.
Yeah, who's next?
Joel. Yeah, Joel.
I sang in choir in middle school, shocker. And I was a little choir kid. In my early 20s, I did some minor opera training and some traditional jazz vocal training. And I did that for a few years in my early 20s. And I decided that I wanted to be a singer after I heard Pantera's Projects in the Jungle. I literally just wanted to be Terry Glaze. And after I heard that, it basically solidified everything in my mind, and I pretty much haven't stopped since. That was around when I was about 18 years old.
Now, did you ever take any lessons with private instructors, or tell me what your time was like when you're going through that?
Well, I started. I started getting vocal training when I was 21 years old, and I just did that with it was just a small private. He was a vocal and guitar teacher. He really wasn't much of a singer, but he taught me a lot of the basic technique. And then after that, I moved on to an opera coach, and he was hella weird, so it didn't really work out that well between us. We had a really weird energy going, but he really just started forcing things into my head, really got my the wheels in my head turning. And then after that, I started seeing, her name is Carolina Matus. She's like a traditional jazz vocalist that graduated from University of Las Vegas in vocal anatomy or whatever. And I started seeing her for a few years, but to anybody that's just starting, private vocal instructors are very expensive and time consuming. Yeah, it got to be too much money for me in my early 20s. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So I took a lot of the groundwork from her, and it's been implemented into my technique later in life. But yeah, it was fun and weird. It was cool.
I guess moving on, Pat.
Yep. I started playing guitar because I found my dad's guitar in his closet when I was snooping around, and then I didn't know how to play it. But then I built a little collection. No, I didn't find anything. It was just the guitar, and then I didn't really know what to do with it until I saw a Kiss on Headbangers Ball years ago, and it was like a weird rerun thing, and I was like, oh, I want to be like Ace Frehley. And that was pretty much it. I just got obsessed with Kiss and tried to be like Ace Frehley.
Nice.
I mean, I didn't take any lessons. I just pretty much just watched Kiss videos every single day until I learned how to play. Still do.
Awesome. Rand?
He's actually not in attendance.
He's not here.
Oh, nuts.
Got everyone else, though.
What about Alex?
Yeah, I'm here. My first instrument was actually the cello. I started playing cello in school, and I did that for, I think, 2 or 3 years. But then I decided that I really, really wanted to be Randy Rhoads or Eddie Van Halen. And so I got my first guitar when I was probably 12 years old. My mom was very nice and allowed me to get a cheap little Strat copy that I kind of banged around on for a while. And I did take lessons at first. I took lessons for a couple of years under a couple of different teachers. And then, just kind of went on from there. I started playing in bands when I was in junior high school and had a couple of bands in high school, a couple of bands after that, and all through my 20s. And, just kept doing it ever since.
How did you guys come together to form Leathrbitch?
Well,
Okay.
So I was in a band called Volcanic, We were based in the Pacific Northwest. Patrick was in a band called Slut Vomit, also based in the Northwest. Patrick parted ways with Slut Vomit, and I was still in my band Volcanic. We just put out an EP, and we were looking for an additional guitarist to add to our lineup. And Patrick saw our Craigslist ad on the Music Classifieds, and he listened to our EP, and he's like, well, I'm not at all interested in joining your band, but I was curious if your singer was interested in a side project. And he just messages me and he asks me that. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I just put out a record. Like, I'm probably good, but like maybe. I kind of wasn't down at first when he first hit me up. And then time went by and I was getting more and more dissatisfied with what I was doing musically. And I hit Patrick up again and he's just like, yeah, I'm still looking for a singer, but we're based in Portland now. Are you still down? I'm like, no, not at all. I'm not trying to move for a band. And then he said these magic words to me, and I'll never forget. He told me, you want to know something? I've driven farther for less. And that just like stuck in my head forever. And I was just like, what if I just need to like uproot myself, move to Portland, start all over? Maybe then I'll get what I want out of music. And that turned out to be the best decision I ever made. Patrick and I got together, we established the groundwork for the band, and we recruited the rest of the guys. For a long time, we were driving from the Olympia area to Portland every weekend, and we were just doing that constantly. Eventually, we moved to Portland, and pretty much everything just kind of followed after that. It's been a crazy ride since.
Now, what do you take more influence from, glam metal or Swedish sleaze metal?
Swedish sleaze metal. I mean,
Porno grind all the way.
Porno grind.
We take influences from the Detroit scene from the 80s.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's glam in there, but like a lot of people overlook the Detroit part of it because Los Angeles is all like cocaine and titties. You know, let's party. But like the Detroit glam scene at the time was a little more serious. It was a little more dark, and it dealt with more real life experiences and stuff like that. So we kind of liked it a little more because it's a little more rugged around the edges. Bands like Halloween, Seduce, The Almighty Strut, stuff like that. They're just like a different brand of glam metal that wasn't so commercial.
Okay, good. Now, what would you say were some of your all-time favorite albums from that era?
I mean, that's hard to say. I think collectively we all really like I don't know, pretty much all the Loudness discography, like from Disillusion up, pretty much everything they've done. Obviously, there's like the really popular ones that we all like, you know, like the Motley Crue, the Rat, stuff like that. But then like Halloween is a really big one for us. Bitch, the list goes on and on. TKO. That's just to name a few.
Now, what was going on with you guys when you composed the 2018 EP?
What was going on? A lot of things were going on. We kind of just, we were a new band. We weren't really sure how people were going to react to us. We kind of just did everything on a limb. We've been practicing these songs forever, and we just kind of just went to the studio and just kind of like, we weren't really sure what to expect. And we all just kind of laid it all down. We did it all really fast. The response was kind of overwhelming. We didn't think that people would actually enjoy it that much, or that another like record label would want to work with us or anything like that. So we kind of went in there not knowing what to expect at all. So we were very clueless, but we still at the same time felt very confident in our material. So it turned out better than we expected. That's for sure.
Now, tell me about your memories about writing Into the Night.
Do we have to?
You want like the good story or the bad?
It's a lot more bad than good.
Yeah, Into the Night wasn't like it wasn't an ideal situation for us. For those of us that have been following us for a while, we've had several lineup changes. We were experiencing lineup changes while we were recording that album. So there was a lot of tension in the band when we recorded that, and a lot of bad energy. But we took every shred of good from every moment we could and just rolled with it. So yeah, in that album you'll hear a lot of
We wrote it in 3 months too.
yeah. The album we wrote it in 3 months. As soon as High Roller was trying to work with us, they wanted us to give them an album within, I think it was like 4 or 5 months. They wanted a new album, and we told them that we needed a little bit of an extension, so they added a couple more months onto that. And frankly, we could have used a lot more time, but I mean, that's kind of just how the recording industry works. It's like, hurry up and put out a new album kind of thing. So it was an interesting time for us, but I mean, in the end, we got some tracks that we're pretty happy with. So
Now, what label are you on now?
we're not really on a label right now. We signed a contract with High Roller for just one album, and we fulfilled our one album contract with them. So currently, we're not actually affiliated with any labels. I mean, of course, they own all the rights to Into the Night till like 2022 or whatever. But other than that, we're not actually strapped to any label right now. The stuff we're recording right now is going to be just independently released.
Now, can you tell me how the song Lust came together?
How did that come together, Pat?
I wrote it in my room in like 5 minutes. 2 days before we recorded it.
Yeah, I wrote the lyrics to that in the Jack in the Box parking lot on my break at work, literally, because we were all just so fucking busy. So I was like cramming in writing sessions on my lunch breaks at work and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy the things you do when you don't have a lot of time. Like times you'd usually spend relaxing, you're just like with pen and paper writing lyrics down. And yeah, very organic start to that song.
Now, I really loved Sleaze City's usage of Arpeggio. What was this song like to write?
That song actually is it almost ended up on our first release, the self-titled EP. We'd just finished writing it right as we were about to head to the studio, but we decided to like hold off on that one because we didn't want to like jump the gun. But I don't even know how that song started. It just
it started. It was different. I think it was a little slower than like we worked it a bunch, and like Sebastian had it where it was like kind of like this arpeggio. It was kind of more felt like more like a guitar only kind of song, and I mean we worked it to be like be more comfortable for vocals and everything else. And then like he did the arpeggio solo, and like it came out pretty good, and I did the rest.
Now, I guess just out of curiosity, do any of you have any favorite movie soundtracks or scores that really influenced your songwriting style?
Oh, the first Nightmare on Elm Street score by Charles Bernstein is fucking amazing, and I listen to it religiously. That's just me personally.
I would say anything John Carpenter did.
Yeah, John Carpenter is a good one.
The Fog is one of my favorite like spooky intro scores of all time. Hans Zimmer did some good stuff. Like I really like Gladiator soundtracks and score. I listen to that from time to time.
Oh, and also the Mac and Me soundtrack.
Definitely.
Literally, that shit, like, I'm not even joking. Like that shit is religion to me. If you guys haven't listened to the Mac and Me soundtrack, it's lit.
I'll have to revisit that one.
Yeah.
Now, I guess, what kinds of cool things are you doing when it comes to the writing of the next album?
Well, I think that we're
we're actually writing them, and then not without the pressure of a time limit. We've been taking our time with it, and like we're like more than half an album ready to go, and like we're gonna write a couple more songs, but we're pretty happy with all of them. They're way darker compared to the other stuff we did.
Absolutely, yeah. I think on our last record, we were trying to really like push that glam sound. Nasty Reputation was a huge fan favorite for us at live shows. So me and Pat were just like, okay, well, if that's what they like, let's base the whole album around that kind of energy. And we did that. And like, I think that maybe it might have not been the best route for us, because I think that people really want us to just do a bunch of like Leather and Lies shit all the time, which is cool. So I think that for this next record, we built up a lot of perspective, and we've made these songs a lot darker and a lot more spooky and a lot more just like in your face. There's no like,
there's still hints of glam, but like it's more on the Merciful Fate side of things.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you say are your 3 favorite songs from the album?
From Into the Night?
No, the new one you're writing.
I would say I can tell you my personal ones. I don't know what ours all are collectively. I'd say, well, right now we're recording two. We're actually in the studio right now on a break. We're recording a song called Morphina and a song called Shadow Mistress. So I'd say collectively those are two really favorites. And then another one that I really like is called The Dark Mirror. That's going to possibly be the opener on our full-length album when we do that. But right now it's called The Dark Mirror, and it's just a really in-your-face kind of song. It just kind of fucking smacks you in the face. So I'd say those are our favorite three of our new material we're working on.
It's going to be a lot more aggressive album, for sure.
Yeah, a lot more anger involved in this album and less like la-di-da, I'm high on coke.
Yeah, the new guys brought a lot of energy in.
Yes, definitely. New lineup, new sound, new attitude.
What kinds of cool things are you doing when it comes to the recording, or I mean the writing of this next album?
Well, I mean, I think Patrick laid down the groundwork. He starts composing the riffs and everything like that. It usually starts with an idea that happens with him, and he presents that to us. And then Alex comes in and he adds some beautiful stuff in there, and they make this beautiful harmony together with Court and Rand. And then I come in very last, and I compose all the melodies and the lyrics, and I'm kind of like the icing on the cake at the very end.
Do you have any tips or tricks for assisting promoters help you put on a really great show when you're playing at a venue for the first time?
Pizza.
Yeah.
For promoters, well, don't make us pay to play because we're too old for that shit now.
Yeah. Especially after the COVID thing, if it ever ends.
Yeah, I think a lot of young bands get manipulated into thinking they should pay money to play on a particular platform, and I honestly don't think that's true. I think that's kind of greedy. But as far as promoters go, I mean, spell the band's name right. There's been so many flyers. Like I remember I was in a band called Children of Seraph, and our very first show, they completely butchered the name on the flyer, and it's like, dude, I'm gonna frame this, put it on my wall.
Yeah,
it's upsetting.
No cheap Photoshop flyers. It looks like ass. No one's gonna go see it.
Some of them are so painful.
Make sure the sound guy isn't a complete dick. Like he needs to like listen to us. But I mean, I guess that goes beyond the promoter. That's like the sound guy. But yeah, I guess just be as be as transparent as you possibly can be.
Don't be a dick.
Don't rip off fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the 2 drink ticket thing is absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Make it at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
For each of you guys, and could you like put out your name before you say it? Most hallowed musical possession.
My most treasured musical possession is I have a copy of Jim Gillette's Proud to Be Loud solo album. It's not worth a lot, but holy shit, it's like one of the hardest records to find, I swear to God. So I'll die with that thing, definitely. What about you, Pat?
I don't really have anything special. I just got a lot of Kiss records, so I mean, if
Got a couple Till Tuesday records.
and a couple Till Tuesday. Actually, my Till Tuesday records are probably my prize fit because they're hard as fuck to find.
Yeah.
Definitely just my Kate Bush album collection and single collection.
We love Kate Bush in this band, just so you know.
At least 2 of us.
At least 2 of us.
I guess mine is probably, I have this Japanese Rickenbacker copy that a friend of mine in Japan gifted me when my old band was touring over there a few years ago.
Awesome. Who was that?
That's Court.
That's Court.
That was Court speaking.
Cortland Murphy.
Wow, awesome. And I guess, was that everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I also have in here most treasured album in your music collection, but most of you guys already said some albums. But Court, what about you? What is your most treasured album?
Damn, that's a good question. I think that actually also goes back to another gift that a Japanese person gave me. I'm a big fan of this old new wave of British heavy metal band called Crucifixion. They have this single that was on Neat Records called Green Eyes, and it's a super rare, super expensive if you can find it. And this dude just gave it to me.
Wow. Now, favorite urban legend or ghost story from Portland, Oregon?
Probably Alex. We're all transplants.
I've like read about some.
Okay,
There's,
you know
like,
what?
That,
Actually, I got one.
Give me
I
your
got one.
favorite urban
There's this
legend
guy
from
named
wherever
Matthew.
you guys are from.
we do have one.
We do have one. So there's this guy named Nasty Beep. I won't say his name. His name is his first name Nasty, last name
Starts with an N.
starts with an N. And he's a pretty notorious guy. So like he likes to go around and steal every woman's underwear and then secretly wear it and take pictures and send it to all the dudes. And then he asks for like everyone's girlfriends and nudes. And then he did this so much that he eventually got kicked out of the town.
And then he like disappears, and that's when he becomes the ghost.
Yeah.
And that's some Portland gossip for you.
It almost sounds like this guy might have recorded an album on Hell's Headbangers Records.
Maybe he did.
Might not be wrong.
I also have the legend of Rooster, who is another ghost who goes on tour with you and sends pictures of his balls to you when you least expect it at 4 a.m. He's a very scary ghost, and I can't get rid of him.
That's not a ghost, that's a demon.
Final words.
LeathurBitch has some new material coming in hot. Keep your eyes open, your ears open, and 2020 may be a shitty as fuck year, but we're here trying to make the best of it. So hope y'all are doing the same.
Yeah, baby.
Yee, yee, and a big old yee, yee.
This has been an interview with LeathurBitch on October 18th, 2020 by Nick Perkel.